morning, Representative Meskers, Senator Hartley, and honorable members of the Commerce Committee. I'm Jason Mancini, Executive Director of Connecticut Humanities, Vice Chair of the America 250 Connecticut Commission, and resident of North Stonington, testifying in support of Senate Bill 1456, and speaking on behalf of a cultural and tourism sector that seeks greater investment from the state for arts, culture, and tourism. I've been at Connecticut Humanities for over 7 years now, and during this time, I've been listening closely to legislators and the governor talk about investment in education, innovation, healthcare, workforce development, and supporting small businesses. As a statewide focused nonprofit affiliate of the National Endowment for the Humanities, I'm here to testify that we do all of that on your behalf, along with our partners in DECD. Together, we engage, grant to, convene, and connect nearly 750 cultural nonprofits across Connecticut in nearly every one of our municipalities. These organizations are small businesses, employers, community anchors, learning, creative, and innovation spaces, and connectors. Through our grants, we collect and report data, we know the opportunities, we understand ROI. In fact, Americans for the Arts released their report last year called Arts and Economic Prosperity. From this, we can clearly see the economic and social impacts of investment in arts and culture. I'll highlight key findings. Total industry expenditures, $955 million. Personal income to state residents, $826 million. Local and state tax revenue, $90 million. Total attendance for in-person events, 10.8 million people. Total event-related expenditures, $348 million. And the average per person per event spend, $30.47. 90% of the attendees are our residents, and 10% come from out of state. Imagine what greater investment in our cultural organizations and in tourism marketing could do for the numbers cited above. The organizations and programs we fund, including libraries and museums, are our most trusted public institutions. In the partisan, polarized time we live in, it is imperative we invest in these public places to bring people together across differences and towards common good. We are trusted, resourceful, accountable, and innovative problem solvers. We are partners and collaborators that invest in, guide, and support small businesses as community anchors. We weave together the educational, cultural, civic, and municipal fabric of Connecticut. With an increasingly unstable and shifting funding culture in Washington, we'll see more pressure in the philanthropic landscape. While important, those investments are inconsistent at best and perfunctory at worst. We're requesting a total of $22 million investment, and this could be accomplished as part of the proposed meals tax allocation. Our request would be a rounding error in the state budget, but one that couldn't be more important to Connecticut's long-term health and future. I'm grateful for your consideration of this important investment.
Senator Hartley.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thanks, Jason, for being here and continuing to be the strong advocate that you are for the Connecticut Humanities, which is a core operation entity in the arts, culture, and tourism landscape. And I appreciate your conversation earlier today and your attention there as well. I just want to say that it is going to be a very challenging landscape, because from here I morph over onto a conservation and development subcommittee. So, and there's lots of gaps there. It's not going to be easy, and so we're trying to be as insightful and also, recognizing the parameters in which we are having to work. And then layer on top of that what's going on the federal level, and it's just a wild, wild situation that, quite frankly, is changing from minute to minute. So thank you for what you're doing. Continue to stay close in touch and have these conversations, and we appreciate every insight that you might give us in terms of how we can leverage and better scale our operations, knowing that we are in very difficult times. But I thank you, Jason, and thank you, Mr. Chair.
I see that Senator Summers has her hand raised, I believe.
Yes. Good morning, Jason, and thank you for being here.
Morning, Senator.
I just want to echo, what Senator Hartley had to say. I sit on conservation and development with her in the budget making, and I'm also the ranking member of APROPS. I will do everything I can. I feel that tourism and the work that you do is a great economic driver for the state of Connecticut, and it's very short-sighted of us to not fund tourism the way it should be funded. And the return on investment, as we've all heard you say and many others say, is one that is within that next year and with tremendous multipliers for the state of Connecticut. So I wanted to let you know that we will do all we can. It is a tough year, but I think that there's things that can be done to ensure that we are appropriating our funds in a way that makes sense for the state of Connecticut. And also, really, tourism needs to be looked at as an investment in our state, in our economy, because the returns are really unsurpassed. I always said if we had only put our pension funds in tourism to get that kind of return on our investment would have been something great years ago. So I wanted to thank you for being here and look forward to working with you and doing all we can. I also really love the idea of using the meals tax to go back into tourism. Most of the meals, at least in my area, that are purchased, at least 50% of them are from tourists. Having that go back into the tourism fund is just a really great way to continue to fund it at the level that it should. It's a sad day when our little states next door, like Rhode Island, are spending way more than Connecticut does as far as tourism, and they're seeing the return. So I wanted to just thank you for all that you do, and look forward to working with you. Thank you.
Thanks, Senator Summers.